Hello, and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars, where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. My name is Hannah, and I'm here with my beautiful co host, Exquisite. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, Hannah. Hello, hello, hello.
We are so excited today to talk about. I feel like this is the one that actually I think planted or like watered the seed of this podcast coming to fruition. Like you and
Yeah.
I were always talking about lyrics and stuff, but when we started talking on Twitter Spaces about the potential references that the Albatross made. Like, what do you remember
Yeah.
about that?
I remember because she was this was the Singapore shows, I think. It was one of the shows where she was across the country. So
Across the
across the country,
ocean.
across the world. And she announced the Albatross version. So we had all like just woken up as she was announcing it because this was where in our time zones it was like early morning for us. Um And I remember we just started talking, then we were like, we should just get on space and
Hmm.
start talking. And we had a lot of ideas about what the title The Albatross could mean and what it could tell us about the album as a whole. And like low key, I don't think we were wrong. I do think it was more, it does seem more related to the albatross poem about them shooting albatrosses down and then becoming curses on thing, than the rhyme of the ancient mariner. But also, I think the rhyme of the ancient mariner resonates throughout tortured poets, just because it's like the whole thing about the rhyme of the ancient mariner is you have this literally the mariner coming back to tell a story, and he's like, I didn't die,
Okay,
but
let's slow down. There are people who are like,
yeah,
what is she
yeah.
talking about?
And you want to explain the
Okay,
rhyme of the ancient mariner?
so what Exquisite is talking about is our two poems that we uh, analyzed that are also have to do with the bird, the albatross. So one is the rhyme of the ancient mariner. Is that Coleridge?
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, it's a very long poem where it describes an old sailor who stops a man on his way to a wedding to be like, "I'm cursed, and I need to tell you this story, and that's part of my curse. It's like I have to tell you the story." And then he's cursed because he kills an albatross, which is a beautiful bird that basically has these large wings that allow it to just float over the oceans and just never land really. Like they're meant to be in
Mhm.
the air and like scoop up fish and then fly off into like I guess they can land in water, right? But then they fly off again with um and so, and then there's another albatross poem that was that one called the Albatross?
Yeah, it's called The Albatross, and it's by Charles Baudelaire, or however you say that French last name. So sorry to the people who are French and listening.
And in that one, the poet compares himself to an albatross,
Yeah,
and
it has this like ending that is a whole thing.
we'll try to link the poems in our show notes. I think we could definitely we are gonna I'll remember to link the poems in our show notes. But basically, Exquisite and I were trying to see like is Taylor referencing one or both of these poems, in which either the albatross is a harbinger of good fortune, and if you kill it, you will ruin your life, or this idea that she is being shot down at by outside forces or critics or whatever and feeling like attacked as she's brought down to earth. And yeah, I would say that they're not wrong.
We're not we're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's not in like it's not her singing like the rhyme of the ancient mariner, and it's not her singing the poem, which I never expected it to be. But again, I think the traces are like all over it. And for those who know the rhyme of the ancient mariner, like Hannah was saying, of it being like this long poem, it is this dude like giving a warning. And also it's funny because the mariner is like low key crashing a wedding to tell this horror story in poetry.
Yeah. And so in we do know that Taylor loves her little Taylorist Swiftisms where she like,
Yep.
takes a common phrase. So you might have heard the word albatross in the idiom an albatross around my neck, right? That's
Hmm.
where something or someone is causing you problems that are difficult for you to escape. or you can't do what you want because of this albatross hanging around my neck. And
Yep.
that actually comes from the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner because he has to wear an albatross around his neck. And we could say that perhaps fame is the albatross around Taylor's neck, which I think is a
Yep.
great segue for us to start getting into the lyrics. So let me start.
Yep.
Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle. A rose by any other name is a scandal. Cautions issued, he stood shooting the messengers. They tried to warn him about her. Cross your thoughtless heart. Only liquor anoints you. She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you.
I just like the way she sings the opening of this. It's like her voice goes up and down. That is like really fun. So like the whole song has this like up and down like quality to it. I'm like not a musician, so I'm not describing this well. Um, but it's like she goes from her lower register to the high and then back to low all over the song. And it's quite delightful. Um,
I don't have the lyric booklet in front of me. There are quotation marks around "wild winds are death to the candle," right? In the lyric booklet.
oh, I don't have my Albatross lyric booklet.
Oh
I
yeah,
have the
that's right.
main
No, we don't have a lyric booklet for this, right? We.
like
Oh,
we
I
I
guess
think
the
you
edition
can
does.
open the Albatross bonus edition. But I feel like it might tell us on the Apple lyrics.
Okay,
Uh,
you check that really quick. But so yeah, so starting off this beautiful verse, I love all the
yeah,
wise
the quote.
men, wild winds. We have the W's. Oh, they do have the quotes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Um, and we have and this is going to obviously repeat. Wise men once said. We have like this idea that there are these wise old people. I always think they're old people who know better, right? Who say this quote, right? And that's going to kind of continue throughout
Mhm.
the song. And they say something pretty true here. Wild winds are death to the candle. That is true. Like if you have some crazy breezes, your candle gonna flicker out. And then we have a rose by any other name is a scandal. And what does that remind you of, Exquisite?
Literally Romeo and Juliet. It reminds me of Romeo and Juliet, which here's Taylor tapping into Shakespeare because in the conversation on the balcony, um, Juliet is bemoaning that Romeo has a different last name.
Not
He's a
even a
Capulet.
different, like a bad last name.
Montague. He's a Montague, an enemy. And he goes, "What's in a name? A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet." Which means that even if you called a rose anything else, if you gave it a different name, like a wildly different name, if you called a rose the sun, it would still, in all of effect, be a rose. So what Romeo was saying is that if I had a different name, I would still like love you. If I had a different name, I would still want to be with you.
Hmm.
Um, and he's like, our names don't matter because I'm still going to be like this. And she's like, our names do matter. And here Taylor is like, it's a scandal.
Yeah,
It's
like
enough.
yeah, names do matter, and in
Mhm.
this context of this wise men, right? Like, and we'll see that the rose, I think, seems to refer to this
Yep.
albatross, right? Like, um, if you don't call her what she is, if you don't like, it's not okay. Like, it's gonna cause a ruckus.
Yep.
Like, you are what you are.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and then again, we see maybe cautions are issued probably from these wise men. And yet,
Mhm.
this person, this unnamed he, stood shooting the messenger, shooting the people who were sending these cautions, even though they were
Mhm.
trying to warn him about her, right? So I see
Mhm.
like, I see this man like a knight or some kind of soldier, right? Like shooting people, trying to send passage like pigeons with letters to him or something.
Yeah. Being like, oh my God, stop right
Yeah.
there. She's a
Uh,
scandal. You cannot call her a rose. She's a scandal.
yeah, like this girl, this person, this her is someone you should be afraid of.
Hmm.
And before you start talking about the chorus, really quick,
Yeah.
I forgot to do this. This is an Aaron and Taylor song. It's the 19th
Yes.
track. It is also a bonus track on the Albatross version, like which we mentioned on off the cuff. But and yeah, so
Very interesting as a bonus track because I remember we first talked about the four bonus tracks before we had any idea that the anthology was coming.
that's right.
We were like these would be the four separate endings. So this would be the second ending, I think. Or well, four additional endings past Clairbow. So this is the first no, this is the second one we see post the Black Dog. So the
Yeah,
Black Dog if we have that as an ending. Um, so the albatross is this second additional ending that we see.
correct. All right, so let's hear your thoughts about Cross Your Thoughtless Heart, etc.
Well, this is a Taylorism. She does this. This song is like full of them, where but typically it's like cross your heart, hope to die. You say that as like a promise. Um, and here she says cross your thoughtless heart. So you're not even thinking about what it is you're promising. And then the only liquor anoints you is so interesting to me because typically when you're anointed, it's like by like a holy messenger or whatever, it's by like a priest, and they'll anoint you. And typically, like if we look at the Bible, you were anointed to be like the next king or the next priest, and you're anointed by holy water. And here
Or
she's
oil.
yeah, or oil. And she's coming in and she's like, only liquor, like alcohol is promoting you to do this almost. Um,
Yeah, liquid
it's
courage.
yeah, liquid courage is encouraging you to go after this albatross. She's the albatross. Um, and I think that's I think it's interesting. I also love the way she sings this.
I do. Cross Your Thoughtless Heart, you might also recall is very similar. Well, what was it earlier about Cross Your Heart? She does sing that in Seven, the song Cross.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, now I just looked it up. Cross Sweet Tea in the Summer, Cross My Heart Won't Tell No Other, right? So, but yeah,
It's
here,
almost childish.
yeah, child, yeah. It is a very like childish thing to say, or like also just very declarative. I cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. Like it's supposed to be like very
Mhm.
strong. But here
Mhm.
you're thoughtless, as in like you are stupid. You are
You're not considering the implications.
exactly right. You are yeah. You're not blessed by either like the Pope or blessed by like a priest. You are blessed by your own, I guess, uninhibited self. Like you are not you're not taking and then but she's the albatross. She's this scary bird that's giant, right? And like again, these birds, if you don't know, have like crazy wingspans. I'm gonna look it up. It's uh
It's
okay, it's
huge.
not here. It's huge. They can spend years and years. I'm gonna look it up. Wingspan.
I think it's literally 6 years without landing.
That's yeah. They can live. Oh my gosh, wingspan of albatross is 10. It's like 8 to 11 feet wide.
Which is
Okay,
crazy.
what's 8 feet in meters for our
Uh-huh.
beautiful? So 2.4 meters plus. Okay, so whatever that means, 2.4 to 3.4 meters across. So this bird is it's scary looking, and in the albatross poem, I think, or I think it's like these sailors like hunted them down. I think people didn't
Yeah.
like them because they thought they would steal their fish or
And
whatever.
they called them like awkward and they were like they should be clumsy because they're beautiful in the sky, but when they land, they have to drag their
They're
wings.
giant, beautiful wings. Yeah. So anyway, so we have this hint that wise men are saying this albatross lady is bad. She was going to
Mm,
destroy you, in fact. Like, you need to stay away from her. All right.
yeah.
Want to grab verse 2?
Yes. So Wiseman once said, and these are in quotations, these next few lines. One bad seed kills the garden, one less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. Locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams, and they tried to warn you about me. Cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you. She's the albatross, she is here to destroy you. Devils that you know, raise worse hell than a stranger. She's the death you chose. You're in terrible danger. And before we get into this, I think this Taylor does this thing, and this is another Taylorism. Well, she will set up a song using like third person, and then she'll flip it at the end and be like, I'm talking about myself. And she'll bring in that I. And she does it here in the middle of the song where she doesn't directly say I'm the albatross yet. She says that later. But she goes, they locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams. They tried to warn you about me. So she's like trying to hint at us like I am this albatross. She's trying to hint at this person, like and us as the listeners that she may just be an I.
Yeah.
Um
No, I love that shift of, yeah, like, surprise, I'm a character. Um
it's
it's me high, literally. And yeah, let's talk about these quotations. So in the beginning we had, a truism, but here we see now some true quote unquote truisms, but these are a little more pointed. So one bad seed kills the garden. Like, okay, yeah, that's true. Like, you don't want to plant a weed or whatever.
yeah.
But then we switch to like misogyny. One less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. Like, that's crazy. Like, one less temptress means I don't have
Yeah.
to kill them. like I don't have to
What?
and
Like, oh, okay.
yeah, and I think this is one of the lyrics that was in the Spotify pop-up in
Yeah.
LA.
Oh my goodness.
And
Everyone's
this one like gagged everybody.
it. Yeah, and then the fact that she's talking about herself
Yeah.
is particularly.
Yeah. Uh and so here we see that she was locked up in towers. And I think in
Mm,
the intimation poem there's like a mention of a
yeah,
tower somewhere, right?
and it implies that it was the wise men that locked her up.
Yes, that is so
There's
good.
an implication that it was the wise men who locked her up in
Yeah.
towers.
And then in Cassandra, we have I was in my tower weaving nightmares. Like, I think
Hmm.
she does feel very isolated and alone. And locking women up in towers was like a medieval way to would
Yeah,
remove women of power out of society, out of culture, to basically
yeah.
exile them within their
And it
own
also
town.
no, exactly, Hannah. And it also, speaking of like within their own town, it reminds me of Who's Afraid of Little Old Me because they tried to be like she's a mad woman in the attic type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they locked her away because she
But
was too powerful. But
but she
back to the you, you
But
know?
she could, she had these powers or
Mhm.
something. She'd visit in your dreams. Like this man who's shooting down the messengers, um, got visions of her.
Hmm. Even though they tried to warn him. That and the visions of her is like an implication of why he's shooting those messengers and ignoring the cautions
Yeah. Yeah.
is because she's visiting him. And so it doesn't matter because he's going to cross his thoughtless heart. Um, yeah. And I love uh the part where she's changing the chorus up again because she Taylor does love to do this. Devils that you know raise worse hell than a stranger is another Taylorism because the saying is the devil you know is worse than the one you is better than the one you don't, not
Yeah.
worse than the one you
Better the
don't.
devil you know than the devil you don't.
Yeah, because it's like that saying is like the bad things that you are aware of, you know what kind of harm they're going to do to you versus the harm, an unknown harm, an unknown enemy. So I'd rather go up against someone like if we were to say like battling someone, you'd rather go and fight someone you know how they fight rather than someone you've never fought before and have no idea what they might be capable of.
But she's flipping it and saying, no, like the people that you know might be
Hmm.
far more dangerous than a stranger is, right? They raise worse hell, right? It's worse, perhaps because they know how to combat you better. They know your most
Yeah.
weakest, vulnerable spots. And so
Yeah.
it's really interesting that she puts that line here because who is she talking to?
I was actually about to say I'm sitting with this line, the devils that raise more hells than a stranger. And it is like to me, again, it feels like she is referencing these wise men are the people in this man's life. And she's like, they are going to put you through hell for wanting to be with me more than people who don't know you and don't know me. Like these people who are advising you are going to like, and to raise hell is to cause problems.
Right.
So it reminds me of But Daddy, I Love Him, where all the people that know her are like, we need to control you. We're gonna judge you, blah, 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 blah. And so this line, she's like, all the devils, like they're going to be much louder than strangers about this. But reminder, she's the death you chose. You're in terrible danger. I love that you're in terrible danger, by the way.
And the way she sings it, it is like a warning, right? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, I think that line to me, going back to it really quick, the devil's that you know line, I think it's just like, it's just this idea that like the people around the albatross, the wise men, like they're like make like it's to me it hints that like they're making it worse than they would for any
Mhm.
other person. Like, to me,
Exactly.
it's a commentary on her, again, like not as Taylor this character, like a commentary on their fame, on the like why were they locked up in the tower? Why is she considered a temptress? Why is she it's because these wise, quote unquote, wise men, which again, I'm so glad you brought up, but Daddy, I love him. It's like, right, all these people, the elders of the town, like it gives me that vibe, right? These people who think they know best, the Sarahs and Hannahs in their Sunday best, right? Like these people, they're, yeah, they're the ones who are hurting me. Like it's not the other, like, right, the people the town over, right? It's the devils that you
It's the
know.
people who said they're trying to protect me. They locked me in a
Yeah,
tower, you know?
yeah, that's like, yeah. Um, she's the death you chose, so you're gonna die, right? Like we're like, well, let's just um
Put it out there.
you're gonna die if
Your death is
you
imminent.
exactly.
But
Um,
you chose it.
yeah. So yeah, why don't you take the bridge?
Oh, okay.
Wait. Oh, is it my turn for the bridge? Oh,
It's your turn.
okay. I'll do the bridge, and then you can do the cool
You
verse
threw me
three.
off. I was
Okay,
like,
okay. My bad, my
whoa.
bad. And when that sky rains fire on you, and your persona non grata, I'll tell you how I've been there too, and that none of it matters. Woo!
Ugh, I love the way she sings this. Like she takes it, it's like she sings it with a gravitas that is necessary when you're singing the words persona non grata.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen so many tweets being like, it scratches an itch in your brain, right?
Yep.
Um, but okay, so when the sky rains fire on you, I see this in two ways. One is biblically, there is like
Hmm.
it's very like Sodom and Gomorrah, like judgment, punishment. You didn't heed the warning, so now there's gonna be some kind of apocalypse on you. Like, it
Hmm.
also could be literally like when sky rains fire, you could be like in a war, right? Like you get shot by
Yep.
arrows or like cannon fire or bullets, even, right? Like this is you're being when you get attacked, right? Like again, you chose this,
Hmm.
and your persona non grata, which you don't know, it's a Latin term. It means an unwelcome person,
Yep.
like, so now and you're ostracized. Like you are, people are like don't care about you. They don't think you're cool.
They
Um,
probably hate you.
yeah, I love that line. I'll tell you how I've been there too. Like, me too. Like, me too, apocalyptic fire
Literally,
and bullets and
literally.
arrows. And none of it matters. Like, it seems like the end of the world, but maybe it's not.
Yeah. And I'm about to tell you something before we even move on to the next part where Taylor and the speaker of home, they explain further how they mean by none of it matters. Um, this song to me feels like a companion to peace in the way Robin is also a companion to peace. And I will expand on this right after right to the next part.
Okay. I mean, I can see it. I can see some pieces falling into place. Piece
Yeah.
is falling into place. Ah, ha, ha. Ah, ha, ha. Um, but uh, yeah, why don't you take the verse three? Let's just dive in.
um, Wise men once read fake news and they believed it. Jackals raised their hackles. You couldn't conceive it. You were sleeping soundly when they dragged you from your bed, and I tried to warn you about them. And then she switches the chorus. So I crossed my thoughtless heart, spread my wings like a parachute. I'm the albatross. I swept in at the rescue. Hold on. I like can't get to the next page for some reason. Um I'm the albatross. I swept in the rescue. The devil that you know looks now more like an angel. I'm the life you chose in all this terrible danger.
So good.
I know. So good. And she's paying off that switch she did into the first person a little earlier. And that because she pays it off in the bridge and then continues it here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we've got these wise men who perhaps aren't very wise at all because they're reading all this fake news about the persona non grata, who is now the enemy to them, and they believe it. Um,
Yeah, they're not wise at all. It might mean like even the stuff they said before, like we shouldn't put stock into them.
exactly. And so you have like jackals, which are their animals, right?
They're
But jackals
dogs.
all, yeah, they're like, don't they have like a laugh? Like they have this laugh, I think. I'm not making that up, I don't think.
Hyenas have
But
the left. Maybe jackals do too. Anyway, it's fine.
jackals have like, but I only bring this up because the thing about jackals and the thing that I feel like not only did she bring it in because it rhymes with hackles and it becomes like this really nice internal rhyme in the sentence, but jackals served in the Egyptian underworld.
Right.
So she's like, remember that hell that's coming? They're coming for jackals raise their hackles, meaning they're preparing to fight him. And she goes on, you couldn't conceive it. Like you couldn't even believe that they were turning on you. These people who like these wise men who used to be on your side and who had tried to warn you. You couldn't believe any of this.
Hold on.
Um,
So if you don't know, hackles are like the hair on the dog. So jackals raise
yep,
the so like it's like a symbol of like anger or alarm. So like
yeah,
these jackals are
they
like
prepared.
they're preparing to fight. So jackals, hackles. Very good. Good job, Taylor. Great job. She probably
Very
wrote
fun. Love,
probably wrote that down in a journal one day. I was like, I should rhyme jackals with hackles one day.
yeah, as she loves to do, as she is wont to do.
Anyway,
But
continue.
yeah, the jackals are getting ready to fight, and she's like, "You couldn't conceive it." Like he didn't even think conceive of something is like to even imagine. It was never in his wildest dreams did he think these people, these wise men, would ever turn on him. They were supposed to be advising him. Um, and she goes, you were sleeping soundly when they dragged you from your bed. So not only were you just sleeping, you were in like having the best sleep of your life when these animals grabbed you by the ankles and dragged you out. And she's like, I tried to warn you. Um,
About these wise men who are actually not wise.
like I tried to tell you. And she's like my own warnings and like their warnings too, you weren't listening. Um, And but so instead of like just shaking their head or whatever, or turning on him, even though he didn't heed her warning, she crosses her own thoughtless hearts and jumps after him, basically, spreads her wings like a parachute. So she imagined like the giant wings, she's like, they're also a protection. Like a parachute slows the fall. You're still falling. It's important.
But it's a
You're
life
still
saving. But it's life saving.
life-saving fall though. Like you are going to be okay when you fall because I'm your parachute. I'm protecting you. I'm the albatross.
Yeah.
I'm the one that they were warning you about, right? But instead of it being like this curse, she's like, look at these wings. These are a parachute. I am sweeping in at the rescue.
Hold on. There's a
I
helicopter. Do you hear it?
no.
Oh, really? Okay. Good job, microphone. Sorry, but you're the she's the albatross,
Yeah. She's sweeping in at the rescue. She's an angel now. Like not even like devils that you know look now more like an
and it's not
angel. So
devils. It's devil. Like it's
yeah,
singular. She's
devil
her.
that you exactly. I looks the devil that you know. So again, she plays on this again. Like before it was devils that you know referencing the wise men, and now she's like the devil that is me, the one that they've called me. I look more like an angel because I'm the only one coming in to save you from all this ruckus and all this terrible danger. In that I'm the life you chose part. the bit, that part is so important to me because she's like, because you chose me, I will protect you, but I can only protect you if you want me to. You have to choose this for me to be able to protect you from all of it. For me to be able to tell you that none of it matters is you have to choose me right back. I
And
can't.
and it's like there still is danger though. Like right? Like it's
Yeah,
still going to be hard and difficult, right? It's not like I can poof make the danger disappear, but I can
exactly.
sweep in at the rescue. I can spread my wings like a parachute and protect us at least a bit.
Yeah, because she's like, I know what it's like. They've been warning, and you knew this too. Like, that's the thing. She's like, I'm the life you chose and all this terrible danger because they warned you. You also saw it. You never thought it would come to you as well, but you saw it. But because you chose this, I'll protect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Do you want
yeah.
to do you want to share your thoughts now?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So the reason I see this song in connection to peace is I feel it because peace is like this beautiful tragic love song to me. Like it's heartbreaking, it's tragic, and you have the singer of peace being like, is it enough? Like just tell me it's enough. And like it's a beautiful love song if the answer is yes, and it's horribly tragic if the answer is no. And to me, the Albatross is a much more empowered version of peace in the sense that she is already answering the question. She's like, I know I can never give you peace, but if you choose me, if you choose to answer me being in your dreams, if you choose this, if I'm the life you choose, I'm going to protect you when the storms come and when these jackals fight back. And when all of this happens, I'm going to be right by your side. I'm going to be the parachute that slows the descent so you don't like die.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I absolutely see that like that connection to like this it's a different perspective on this very similar issues to what she sings about in Peace where our coming of age is coming our coming of age is come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear.
I never had the
Urge
courage
of
of my
my
conviction.
as long as
Long as
danger is near, right? Like, and danger is always near. And
hmm
it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me. No, I could
hmm
never give you peace. Like she knew that, and she does. And then so here she's like, yeah, like the. So I crossed my thoughtless heart, spread my wings like a parachute. It's an active version, like versus passive of
Yeah,
I'm a fire and I keep your brittle heart warm when your cascade ocean
yeah,
wave blues come. And so yeah, I think this is a beautiful. Both are beautiful songs
yeah.
about
No, I love both of them.
yeah, like and this one I do think that this idea like I'm just gonna read the outro. So cross your thoughtless heart. She's the albatross. She is here to destroy you, right? Like, so it's interesting to me because it's like, hey, so do it, right? Again, we it's like this imperative, like, so cross your thoughtless heart. Like, yes, like, make that promise, like, dive in, right? Because
Jump into
yes,
that fishbowl.
yeah, jump into the fishbowl, right? Because yes, she's the albatross, and I know it seems negative. She is here to destroy you. Like, yes, in a certain way, you could say, oh, this could turn out bad, right? Uh,
hmm
it- so it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down
I
in
was gonna say
flames.
it's gonna go down in
Yeah,
flames.
right. Like, but at the same time, like that she is here to destroy you is still the wise men's words, right? Like that's so.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna listen to? Are you gonna listen to the wise men, quote unquote
Are you
wise
gonna listen
men?
to the person that actually goes through it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I think, and yeah, I'd actually love to talk about, I've seen people, I think like Chats and Reacts and other people have said like, um, this song is a lot like Blank Space, but like with a twist. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
It's like this idea that like she's taking this idea of people saying she's a serial dater, that she's a man eater or whatever, and like being like twisting that narrative the way that she did in Blank Space where she like made fun of it. And here she's pointing out, right, like you guys are the ones that are you guys are the jackals raising hackles
Yeah.
and things like that. And
Like
so for
the
me,
danger is the fact that it's y'all. The devils, are raising this hell. Like you guys are doing this.
yeah.
Um, but again, and because it's the devils that she knows how to combat it. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, okay, and I'm back to peace because she goes, and it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me. And when she says that, like there's like she it feels like she's remorseful that the danger is because of her, and she knows it. Um, but in the Albatross, she's like, "Hello, you know it too." And because it's in me, I know how to combat it. So even though I would sit with you in the trenches, we can get out of the trenches because I know how to defend you. Like you're in the trenches because something is firing at you and you're trying not to get hit. And she's like, I'm gonna take those bullets because I'm okay because I like she's built up a capacity to take those bullets so they can walk out the trenches. She'll be the parachute, right?
Yep.
So it's very like it's very much like an acceptance of because we talk about Taylor's like relationship to fame all over this album.
Oh yeah.
Um, in this song, it's like an acceptance of I know this is crazy.
Hmm.
But if and you also like if you are willing to call out for me, you know you're about to date capital T Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
right? You know this, if you're willing to do this, and I'm sure you've done the research of like my long list of ex-lovers and how I'm a man eater, you have to accept the fact that danger is coming and you have to be willing to accept my help
Yeah.
in said danger situations, or else this is never going to work.
Yeah. And I think that this is also like such an evolved way of Taylor looking at fame, like calling herself the Albatross, right?
Yes.
It's kind of how she like reclaimed the phrase "slut" in 1990 TV. But this idea, like, I get it. Like, I can like being capital T Taylor, capital S Swift is a burden, right? It can be the albatross around your neck, haha, like she
Mhm.
herself is. But um, I am willing to defend those I love, and I'm still a person who's deserving of love and of respect,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's a way to reclaim agency in this world full of bad wise men.
Yeah. And also like she's like it's not just you're like the fame is a burden, but you have to realize I'm the albatross. I am like very it's a declarative statements. I'm the albatross. This is me. Like she's like I am that burden. So if you're going to treat it like a burden, you're treating me like I'm less than, even though that's what I am, right?
Yeah,
And also again, I just love the fact that she keeps pointing out this is the life you chose.
yeah,
You picked it.
yeah.
Um yeah.
Did your
And
research, knew the price coming
yeah,
in.
knew the price coming in. I love how like especially like later on when she stops like being as self-loathing as she is all over the album, she's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's not just me that's at fault for my fame. And it's not like I deceived you.
yeah,
And I think this song is like, there's no deception. You know, and I know you know, and I know that you know. Like we all know that I can be this terrible burden, but also I can be a parachute. The albatross on your shoulder can be a parachute. It's got the wise wings. Like it's not something
I
that
love that.
it doesn't have to be painful if you trust it.
No, I absolutely love. Yeah, like yes, the albatross around your neck is, yeah, a burden, but it's also, if it's all around your neck, it can spread its wings and like catch you, right? It's like
Exactly.
jump then fall, right? Jump then fall into me, right? I'll catch you.
Exactly. And I think it's like I think the albatross is really it's really interesting because of that because again we don't have a speaker who is ashamed of being the albatross at all. She's
Yes.
like locked me up because of it, but they couldn't contain me. I'm not ashamed of this. And again, you knew. Like you can even if you wanted to ignore those messengers, like you want to shoot them down or whatever, you knew. So what are we going to do about this? You
Yeah.
can either choose this life or I'll let them eat you up because you didn't want to help me. You didn't want to let me help you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I think there's a real element of, hey, like we have to partner to do this together. Like if we're gonna overcome the devils and the jackals and the wise men, like we have to really partner, like, and trust each other. Because if you don't trust me, I can't sweep in at the rescue, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
persona non grata with fire, raining fire on you.
Yeah.
But I've been there, so if you want me to help you, we can overcome this together. Um,
Yeah. And again, the like I tried to warn you about them.
oh
Like
yeah,
I knew like they tried to warn you about me and I tried to warn you about them. I tried. So you need, and the try is like essential. She's like, I was trying to tell you, like, I knew this would happen. I'm aware. You have to use my, like, take my advice because I've been there and none of it matters. She even says it in the bridge. She's like, and none of it matters. As long as you trust me,
Yep.
you'll realize that they're reading fake news and they're believing it. And you will know it's fake news if you trust me on this.
Love that. I think that's a great
Love
place
that.
to end. Any thoughts on the emoji for the week?
Is there a fishbowl emoji?
Ooh, let's look. Fishbowl. We could even do like a fish, right? Because
If they
you did little fishies. There is no fishbowl, but is there? There is. Yeah, because it's because of the lover house, right? Like the diving
yeah.
into the fishbowl. I mean, we could
Yeah.
just I mean,
Fish.
a
Let's
fish.
do two fish.
There's two. There's
Ooh, we should do the fish that's on the fishing line.
okay.
That's specific.
All right, the fish on the fishing line.
Yeah, the one that's literally on the fishing pole and being pulled up like it's not to be eaten.
Oh my
I think that works.
god. All right, people are gonna be so confused when they see that. But but yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Please participate in the convo at #anthology seminars. And if you would like, we do have a link to our Ko-Fi. If you want to buy us a coffee, give us a little tip, and we would appreciate that. And we do have, oh my gosh, people who haven't logged off yet, we do have a special guest for our next
Yeah.
episode.
Next week's gonna be fun.
It's Chloe and Oomph, or Chloe et
Yeah.
al. Well,
Chloe
Chloe and all of
friends.
them. And we
Yeah.
have a professor who is going to join us. That is so
Yeah.
exciting.
It's gonna be fun.
All right. Thank you, Exquisite, for being here. Thank you, everyone listening. We'll see you soon.
Bye.